Water is life, and with ever-increasing population, there is an increased demand for water for various uses, ranging from domestic, sanitary, industrial and agricultural purposes. This has necessitated the need for construction of critical infrastructure to enable the provision of water for the use of the generality of the citizens of the country. Dams are built to control and store water. Dams are made from different materials depending on the intended purpose, and the materials may include earth, stacked rock, or concrete, and are usually constructed across rivers to store water in the reservoir that is formed behind the dam as a result of the river being blocked.
Over thousands of years, man has found it important and convenient to harvest water to be used during the dry season. And that is why we have dams in this country and all over the world. Especially following the droughts of 1973 in this country, the federal government at that time saw the need to continue to invest in construction of dams all over the country, which could be used for drinking water, tourism, and especially irrigation during the dry season. And we have quite a number of successful of such irrigation projects across the country.
Water has been scarce in some parts of Nigeria. And in some parts of Nigeria, plenty of water but no water to drink. So if you just quantify the amount of potable water, quantify the amount of water used for agriculture, you'll be able to have an idea of the economic impact of that.
The first major dam in the country was the Kenji Dam, and it was done in order to provide electricity. And when it came into being, it helped to increase the electricity output in the country.
Dams can be used to store water, control flooding, and generate electricity, and provide bulk water for treatment plants for potable water supply. Dams generally provide raw water for meeting the requirements of water supply for drinking, agriculture, and recreation, generation of hydroelectricity, flood control, navigation, mining, and industries. Dams therefore comprise a critical components of water supply and require that the construction of new ones, rehabilitation and maintenance of existing ones are essential to sustain the availability of water for man's various uses as the country moves towards enhanced developmental standards in line with global best practices. Dams and reservoirs give a considerable boost to the national economy and have contributed immensely to Nigeria's developmental achievements over the years. The socio-economic impacts of dam construction and operations in Nigeria on the populace from its onset in 1919 cannot be overemphasized. As at 2017, hydropower generation in the country was estimated at 2,133.25 megawatts, with a potential to generate in excess of 12,000 megawatts. This power accounts for about 40% of the electricity on the national grid. In the area of irrigation, over 70,000 hectares of arable land are under all year-round irrigation by over 300 irrigation projects and schemes. About 30% of these schemes source water from dams nationwide. This has substantially increased food production, farmers' annual incomes, and improved standard of living. The integration of rural communities into mainstream economic activities through employment generation in fishing and aquaculture have been rapidly facilitated by dam and reservoir construction and operations. This has been complemented by the construction of ancillary projects such as hundreds of kilometers of rural roads, which has opened up these settlements to urban markets and mitigated rural-urban migration. These equally benefit from the provision of electricity and potable water from the operations of dams. The Federal Ministry of Water Resources is the institution saddled with the responsibility for the regulation of the development and operations of dams in Nigeria. Of significant note is the fact that the key intervention strategy used by the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to deliver economic development through dam construction was the creation of the River Development Authorities, and this has brought development to several communities in their catchment areas. The Federal Ministry of Water Resources is working within the legal and policy framework of regulating water resources development and management as encoded on the Nigerian National Water Resources Master Plan. The Master Plan is aimed at establishing an integrated water resources management system in line with international best practices to harmonize and optimize the growth of aligned goals of subsectors of the economy such as hydropower generation, urban and rural water supply, irrigation, livestock and freshwater aquaculture, and internal navigation. The Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Hussaini Adamu, speaking at the launch of the Compendium on Dams, expressed optimism over the nation's 408 dams' capability to galvanize the economy and attract investors.
Water is critical to life and livelihood and is the basic input in all sources of the economy. No meaningful development can take place in the absence of water. Unfortunately, this important natural resource is not evenly distributed in space and time. And in order to ensure availability of water for various purposes, the federal government, the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, state and local governments, as well as corporate organizations and individuals, have for several years embarked on the construction of dams.
The Department of Dams and Reservoir Operations is one of the technical departments of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and is headed by Acting Director, Engineer Dalatu Muhammad Lawal, Fellow, Nigerian Society of Engineers. The department is mandated to undertake the planning, designing, supervision of construction and regulation of all dams and reservoirs in Nigeria. The department is divided into 5 technical divisions, while each division is headed by a deputy director. The subunits are as follows: Dam Engineering Services, Dam Instrumentation and Safety, Hydropower Development, Dam Reservoir Operations, and Geotechnical and Support Services. The Dam Engineering Services Division is responsible for planning and design of dam projects and ensuring a systematic construction of all dams in accordance with the provision of National Water Resources Master Plan. It is also responsible for developing guidelines for dams construction nationwide. Geotechnical and Support Services Division is responsible for site selection, topographical survey, and conducting a geological, hydrological, geochemical, geophysical, and geotechnical studies of dam site and construction materials before and during dam construction. It is also responsible for environmental impact assessment (EIA) and environmental audit (EA) of dam projects. The Dam Instrumentation and Safety Division is responsible for ensuring instrumentation, safety and functionality of all existing dams. The division also undertakes the analysis of dam surveillance, acquisition of data, and preparation of programs for periodic evaluation and maintenance. The Hydropower Development Division is responsible for the study of hydropower potentials of new and existing dams, as well as construction, supervision of hydropower projects.
As you know, there are various sources of power generation. So hydro, power that depends on water, contributes to just about 15% of the entire power matrix in Nigeria. And this administration has done everything possible to ensure that we move forward from that 15% towards 20 to 25%, because we know that hydropower is green power. It's very safe, it's very environment friendly.
The Dam Reservoir Operations Division is responsible for developing specific reservoir operations models for major reservoirs in the country and specifically standards for management of reservoir water quality. It is also responsible for operation and coordination management of dam reservoir in accordance with the defined standards for effective utilization for multipurpose uses. With the above clearly defined duties and responsibilities of various divisions, the director of the department, Engineer Dalatu M. Lawal, said that the division of the dams and reservoir operations is to achieve a world-class dam in the country, while the mission is to provide sources of water for multipurpose uses across the country, such as irrigation, fishing, tourism development, and agricultural purposes, in line with the federal government policy of providing water for the teeming populace of the citizens of the country, eradication of poverty, and discourage rural-urban migration. Engineer Dalatu M. Lawal speaks further on the activities of the department since the inception of the present administration in 2015.
First mandate of the Federal Minister of Water Resources given by President Muhammadu Buhari's administration is to complete all prioritized ongoing dams and irrigation projects. When this administration came into force in 2015, in 2016, a consultant was commissioned who undertake a holistic audit, technical audit of all the projects of the ministries. And they classify them as high priority, medium priority, and low priority projects. So the idea is that those high priority projects should be completed first, then the medium priority, and then the lower priority. And the unviable ones, those ones that are not viable, you close them or you terminate them as the case may be. And that's exactly what our department has been doing.
Engineer Lawal said that the administration in 2017 inherited 37 uncompleted dam projects from all over the country, and since then, the Dam and Reservoir Operations Department has keyed into the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Hussein Adamu's policy of completion of all ongoing inherited projects of the ministry. According to the acting director of the department, about 10 inherited dam projects have been completed, in line with their level of priority and their importance to the policy of the federal government on economic diversification from petroleum-driven economy to agricultural-driven economy. 12 major dams have been earmarked to be completed between now and 2023, while others will be completed beyond the tenure of this administration. Some of the major dams so far completed include construction and completion of Ogwashi Uku Dam, Delta State, which had been handed over to Goda for operation and maintenance. Construction of Ibiano Ibon Dam, Akwa Ibom State, completed and handed over for operation and maintenance. Construction of Amansuri F Dam, Bridges and Access Road, Imo State. This project has also been completed and handed over for operation and maintenance. Construction of Amla Okbo Earth Dam in Benue State, partially completed as remedial works will soon be over. Construction of Gimi F Dam, Kaduna State, completed and handed over. Construction of Sulma F Dam in Katsina State, it has been completed and handed over to Katsina State government. Rehabilitation of Kampiomi Dam, Yagba local government area of Kogi State, the project has been completed and handed over. Rehabilitation of Kargo Dam in Kaduna, the repairs has been completed and handed over. Study and design of Ojogo Dam in Benue State, the final design document sent for implementation. Urara Water Transfer to FCT project hydropower component concessioned. The 12 earmarked major dams to be completed between now and 2023 are enumerated as follows. The above enumerated dams are due for completion by 2023, while the remaining ones will be executed beyond the expiration of the current administration. On hydropower project initiatives of the department is presently collaborating with the Federal Ministry of Power to develop Nigerian power sector investment opportunities and guidelines for willing investors to take advantage of the hydropower potentials that exist in some of our dams. The department is currently working on that Inkowa hydropower project already concessioning is at the advanced stage of its completion, while work is ongoing on Tiga and Chalawa hydropower projects. Concession to the Kano State government is ongoing. The Federal Ministry of Water Resources is collaborating with Federal Ministry of Power for potential hydropower generation development. These are the Kashimbili Dam Hydropower Plant 40 MW, Burara Dam Hydropower Plant 30 MW, Ogashuoku Dam Hydropower Plant 1 MW, Dainkowa Dam Hydropower Plant 15 MW, Tiga Dam Hydropower Plant 20 MW, Chalawa Gorge Dam Hydropower Plant 10 MW, Mangu Dam Hydropower Plant 182 MW, Burara 2 Multipurpose Dam 360 MW, ATC Multipurpose Dam Hydropower Plant 40 MW, and Farunrua Dam Hydropower Plant 20 MW. The department has identified and carried out studies on some of the completed and ongoing dam projects for hydropower, 19 of which have the potentials for hydropower generation with a total capacity of 3,557 megawatts. These dams include Urara, Oyan, Ikere, Gorge, Bakolori, Dainkowa, Tiga, Kiri, Jibia, Chalawa Gorge, Owene, Duma, Ulaya, Umbowo, Zobe, Kampe, Kashimbila, Ogwashuku, Zungeru, and Mambila. Some of the existing projects require rehabilitation and replacement of some obsolete turbines with more efficient modern technologies, while in 2018, the ministry has taken over the Farunrua Dam Hydropower Plant 20 MW from Nasarawa State Government for completion and concessioning. It is indeed worthy of note that dams contribute in no small way to enhancing national economy and national development. Therefore, Engineer Dala Ali Ibrahim, the Director in the Department of Dams and Reservoir Operations, elucidates.
Dams contribute to national development through the provision of storage in our reservoirs. The water stored in the reservoir can be used for irrigation, and in this way we increase the food security of the nation. We also use the storage for the development of hydroelectricity that people generally depend on for their livelihood. We also use the dam to control flood. As everybody knows, when there is flood, there is destruction of property and sometimes life. But if dam is in place, it will trap the excess water, the flood water, and this will mean safety and then protection against loss of properties.
Dams are quite important to the economy. Like I said, if you look at irrigation, it means we can do all year round farming. If we have dams that store water that can be used for irrigation purposes, it guarantees food security because we can continue to cultivate certain crops all year round. Then we also have these dams also useful for hydropower to provide us with renewable energy. And of course, the importance of power supply, I don't need to make much noise about it. We all know a substantial amount of the power that we consume in this country, even at the moment, comes from installations like the hydropower plants in Shiroro, Kainji and Jeba. Then if you're looking at even aquaculture, again fisheries, quite it's a big economy there. The one in Oyen Dam, I'm made to understand that some of the companies are even exporting tilapia from that, so it's also already a source of foreign exchange. So if we harness this properly, and we get a lot, if we are able to get private sector investors, especially in the aquaculture side, I think there's a lot going for us, and we have been advocating for this. We're inviting companies or entrepreneurs that want to do cage fish farming. We have these dams available. They can come and invest.
All of the completed dam projects all over the country, if put into use in its full capacity, will no doubt serve as reservoir of water for multi-purpose uses, such as season and whole year-round agricultural scheme, provision of water supply for consumption, and increase the nation's hydropower capacity that will further inject and increase power generation in the country. If the teeming unemployed youths fully engage in farming activities through the availability of water, would no doubt ensure the availability of agricultural products, and the issue of food security and food sufficiency will be addressed in the country. The Federal Ministry of Water Resources, in working with state governments to enhance the development of dams for greater national economic growth, took over the completion of Faranrua Dam in Nasarawa State. During the flag-off of the construction of the Faranrua Dam project, the Honorable Minister of Water Resources noted that the federal government is strongly committed to construction of projects that will better the lives of citizens of this country.
The federal government is strongly committed to the provision of the needed infrastructure that will better the lives of all citizens and guarantee socio-economic development. The President commissioned the Lagos-Ibadan Railway. And the record is there, very, very clear for all to see, that the Buhari administration has done much more with less resources than any government in our recent history with the provision of infrastructure. Your Excellencies, it is our hope that upon completion of this project, its multi-purpose uses will be beneficial to the good people of Nasarawa State.
We applied and then we got the approval of Mr. President, to whom we are forever grateful. Every time you go to Mr. President with something that is meaningful, that will have an impact in the lives of the people, the President will come straight away and do it, and we are forever grateful to Muhammad Buhari. By the time the water flows all the way to this dam, and with 73 million liters, and the depth of the dam, you can easily generate another 25 megawatts of power here. 10 megawatts is enough to power the entire Nasarawa state. You have 40 megawatts to go straight to Abuja. And Honorable Minister, if you do that, as I'm telling you, you have written your name in gold.
When I retired from service in December 2018, this will technically have been the end of this dream project. But Honorable Minister kept faith with the project and never abandoned it. He saw it through the Bureau of Public Procurement for the selection of contractors, the approval at the Federal Executive Council, and now, today, to the flag off.
We heard about it, this dam is coming to us. So we are happy, very, very happy to have the irrigation fund on this side. But these places that you see here, it's going to be very, very attractive. And thank you for your help.
The department will also work out modalities for the involvement of development partners to assist in the funding and development of various projects by way of public-private partnership (PPP) arrangements.